He's going to drop the jewels on the government mishaps and mix-ups and give us some insight on what is going on in Washington, D.C., because I need to know. I've been trying to figure it out on my own, and he puts a very, very interesting post on Facebook. So I had to grab him in today so he could do it live, in effect. We are today, for the first time, streaming live on my YouTube page at author Erica Williams. So go there so you can check us out. We looking all rose goldish up in here. And it wasn't planned, right? That's just how the day starts, with the energy of good people. You know, good people think alike, and great minds, of course. So at the moment, we'll begin right now. What is going on? I'm so upset with T.I. right now. I'm upset with T.I. because we know that you don't want to be with Tiny anymore. We know that. All right. You know, you're ready to leave your marriage. Okay. You popping. You know what I'm saying? You feel like you're ready to upgrade, which you have. I can't lie. Bernice Burgos is fly. All right. However, stop forcing your children to accept the situation before they are ready. By bringing presents from your mistress, because she still is, to your son's birthday party and presenting them like everybody was going to be like, oh, that's from Bernice. Oh, she's so sweet. No, you don't do that in front of your wife because you're not divorced. You could have waited till the party was over, pulled your son to the side, and said, this is a gift from Bernice. You feel me? Like, that's inconsiderate. I think it's definitely not necessary, and I think that he is jumping the gun by thinking that everything is going to be all good and great just because her panties look hot, and, you know, I saw some pictures of her today on that she's illustrious. She's beautiful. But T.I., we all know that there are millions of beautiful women out here. That doesn't mean that at one point you may bump your head with this situation. So take your time. Think this thing through. You know, I'm just feeling bad for the kids for this situation. I don't want to be at my son's party and I've just broken up with my man and he comes to announce that his girlfriend gave my son this gift. I don't want that. And I believe Tiny spoke up. So what do you think, Daryl? I mean, whether you know the whole situation or not, why would a man do that? Is he just, I mean, I think he's in a tight spot because he wants his kids to accept his new girlfriend. He wants them to, of course, think that she cares because she bought a gift. You know, but his wife was at the party. Like, what's that?
Well, basically, you know, I mean, as you grow as a man, you understand that certain things have to be kept separate. You know, there's certain people have their own space. You need to honor that space. You know, his wife's space is her space. The girlfriend now has a space. Okay, but until the two of them, his parents, begin to say, okay, this is how we're going to meld this family, how we're going to mold this family together, it's not his place to make that move. I would feel that definitely he needs to sit down with his wife and say, okay, how are we going to handle this with these kids?
Right.
Okay, and the girlfriend needs to keep her space for the moment.
Well, therein lies the problem. When you have a new girlfriend who is clearly threatened by your wife because of all of the children, all of the years that you have been together, you've been tied into each other, she has been threatened. I mean, she is threatened, and her appearance is only one thing that is keeping his attention right now. But his kids and his family is still there.
Right.
So I think, because she's also saying that she wants a baby already, and he's saying that he's not ready. Well, he doesn't want any more kids. I'm sorry, I think he's not ready. But I think that's going to change because he's going to have to give her a baby if he wants to give her. I heard she has an older child that she's not talking about, but still, she's a young girl. She wants her position, and she doesn't just want it to be side chick, because right now nobody's respecting her.
Right.
Her position is side chick. So I'm sure that this was him feeling the pressure, she's bringing these probably beautifully wrapped gifts to say, here, give this to your son. And every move he makes, she's watching and saying, oh, so I wasn't good enough for you to get the gifts? Am I really important? Am I your girlfriend? Or am I just your side chick? Because that's what a girl that feels insecure is going to do.
Well, she needs to understand. I mean, he needs to understand that you should have these discussions beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if you really want certain things to happen, as a man, and in terms of having a wife and children and having your girl, you need to have the discussions with both your wife and the girlfriend, and then figure out how you want to go from there. You just can't drop things on people because you're going to get the natural reactions. The girlfriend's going to react like, what? Well, I'm not important?
Right.
Okay? And the wife is like, hey, I have your kids, okay, and I'm not important?
Right.
And that's because he never had that real conversation between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And he needs to be the one to kind of dictate how it's going to go. Because he is the one that is in the middle, and he's going to get all the heat. So if you don't want the heat, you have to sit down with these big heads and stay out the kitchen. That's right. But mainly, you got to sit down and you got to explain the situation to everyone to tell them this is how it's going to be.
Well, okay, he can't go back now and not be all open on Bernice, because he's open on Bernice,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But should he have waited until the divorce was final in order for him to start dating? Or maybe not. I mean, twisting, he's gonna twist. Mm-hmm. But dating and being serious about somebody.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, in his heart, I guess he feels like they're just waiting for the courts to say it's over. In his eyes, it's over. So is it fair for him to have to wait? Is that fair for us, all the public? Because I'm partial to the wives all the time. So
yeah, well, that's the situation he puts himself in. He's got to wait. To me, he has to wait. Now, I mean, it doesn't mean that he has to wait from his new relationship. But in terms of bringing in all the serious issues that come with, having a woman, having children, so on and so forth, or even the new woman that wants to have children for him, okay, those things you have to wait and put in place the right way. And of course, right now, she's still his wife. She deserves a certain amount of respect, and even after divorce, by her being the mother of his children, she deserves a certain amount of respect.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying T.I. doesn't respect Tiny at all. Even before this situation, he didn't respect her career. He didn't respect her. He's being really seen in a different light right now because he really seems like he doesn't care anymore. And you can clearly see that her feelings are very hurt. She started a basketball team, a co-ed basketball team, and she made jerseys that are the heirs, and their daughter together is named Heiress. So, she's still trying to, I guess, show him, like, this is still great over here. Like, look at what I'm doing. And the team made him a jersey, and he was like, F the jersey. I don't even want the jersey. Because she said I didn't make the jersey. You know what I mean? But it's kind of like, you can just see that it's just horrible for all people involved, and there's no guarantee that it's going to work with Bernice. I think he's just in that moment where he has something new, but things that are new, they get old too. And you end up with the same situation of having to keep it spicy with somebody, whether it's your past or your present.
Well, you've got a segment coming on a little later in the show,
yes,
where we're going to talk about some of those things.
Absolutely.
And how real relationships work. When you're in the game that T.I. is in, a lot of reality gets bent.
Right.
And to tell you the truth, he has the ability to bend it the way he wants to bend it. So he does have all the cards on the table for him, okay, where he can dictate exactly how things are going to go. And he needs to step up and decide how he wants it to go.
So is it okay? So because he's successful, he has money, he's in the spotlight, he's famous, and he has a lot of yes people, of course, that's telling him, "Oh man, it's all right. You do what you want to do. This is how you feel. Don't listen to them haters." You know what I mean? That doesn't mean he can't crash and burn.
No, the thing is that it's not about his friends or anybody else. It's him that's going to have to deal with this for the rest of his life. As long as his children are alive, he's going to have to deal. So you need to take a look at, how you want things to go. And basically, each woman is kind of putting him in the middle and saying that, okay, he's the man and he's my man, or, he's my baby's father or whatever. But he's the one that's holding the cards.
Right.
Okay, so he has to deal the cards correctly. Otherwise, the rest of his life, he's going to be miserable one way or another.
Well, speaking of being miserable, there's a teacher named Ted Cummins who just seemed to be so miserable with his wife of 30 years that he decided that he was going to abduct a 15-year-old girl, which happened to be his student, and take her away, whisk her away like they were going to Fantasy Island, like it was okay, like everybody was going to say, oh, you can do that if that's what you want to do. I mean, because it was so, this is what I mean about when we lie to ourselves. Because he wrote his wife a letter when he left and said, honey, I'm sorry. Just please don't call the cops on me. I just need to get away. I might be going to Myrtle Beach, but I'm just upset because they're talking about me kissing this girl. And I need some time to get away. I didn't say I'm with her. I am with her, but I'm not going to put this in the letter. But don't call the cops. The nerve! The nerve of it. How do you do that after 30 years if you're miserable and and the person that you're with doesn't know you're miserable, or they're miserable too, or whatever the case is? Is that, I would really feel like this is what I get after 30 years of cooking your dinner, a letter on the table, and then I gotta watch you on the news that you took your student actually. How do we come to a place where we just throw it all away and not think of the consequences, of our actions? We're so miserable that we just want to escape. Is that built up? We watch a lot of television shows, and a lot, even with the comedy Married with Children, right? Back in the day. And, he just seems so annoyed with them. Everybody's got on his nerves. I mean, there's so many men that can relate to be sitting on the couch and looking at their wife. I can't stand her. And she's like, honey, here's your dinner. And this is what I had. And this is what happened to me at work today. And he's like, blah, blah, blah. He's not even listening. I mean, my goodness, is it that bad marriage? We're going to get to that.
Yes.
But, I just don't understand how people can make those rash decisions that make no sense. Do you think that's mental illness, or how does that happen?
Well, basically, a lot of people have a lot of different reasons for what they do.
Right.
But, when you're not thinking rationally, okay, all these things have repercussions, okay, and they're going to come sooner or later, okay. So whether he thinks that, I can get away with it today, he may not get away with it tomorrow. But sometimes they look at things as grass is greener on the other side, or there's some people are just into the newness of a acquisition of another person, whether it be male or female, and they just into the pursuit, okay, and then they're into the new sex part of it, okay, and the unfamiliarity amongst each other. But then once it comes down to you have to be familiar with each other for anything to go on for any distance or for any length of time. So these are the things that just scramble in their brains, because of the newness, but eventually reality catches up to everything.
Yeah, I think it comes, of course it comes with being mature and seasoned, because I used to like the newness of relationships too, meeting somebody and it's all, but then somewhere around the 6-month mark, you're looking at, you're saying, do I really like this person?
Reality kicks
You know what I mean? It's like, what am I doing? What is going on here? So I'm still, the type, I'm trying to hold on till can't hold on no more, try to work it out, make it, make everything right. But one thing we can learn is that it's never too late to change, to be happy, because there is a lady who is 105 years old, and she just actually graduated from high school. So I want to give her a congratulations. Her name is, that's for you, miss. Her name, she actually is from Pittsburgh, and her name is Teresia Brandel. And what happened was there's a group of people who grant wishes to older seniors, before they pass. And she said that her wish was to graduate from high school because when she was younger, back in the day, things were different. She had to choose between getting her education or helping her mom at home with her younger siblings. And she chose to stay home and help her mom and raise her siblings, never graduated from high school. And at 105 years old, this lady graduated from high school. So, hey, I mean, people want to always tell us, oh, it's too late for you to do that. Oh, you still trying to do that. I mean, one thing the only thing I would think is true about that is rappers. You try to be a rapper and you're 60, I don't know, unless you do rapping about Geritol and stuff like that. Go to the nursery. Maybe, listen, it's never too late. Go to the nursing home, put your old 80s gear on, you know what I'm saying, and be a rapper. So I would have to retract my statement. You could be a rapper at 65 if you want to. You just got to know where to do your shows at, right? Travel around and do all nursing homes.
It's
What
never
you
too
think
late.
about that?
Well, it's never too late. I mean, still, basically, I'm here to provide some political commentary. You bring me into this thing.
Yeah. Well, this is at the moment. We're about to close.
You know what? I'm going to try to hang in there with you because you're my cousin.
You riding away. Right. But listen, I got you. My mouth keeps moving. I don't see you talking. I'm going to keep it moving.
Oh, we got our girl over here. She's helping you out on this.
We are at the end of At the Moment. So you did well. You did well.
Oh, thank you.
Out.
From an old man point of view.
My point, I read an article. Vera Wang, she's very famous for her dresses. She got turned down, she got fired, she got pushed to the side, and didn't really become famous until after 50. So, hey, it's never too late.
Never too late.
All right, and on that note, it's never too late to tune in to the Boss City Chronicles radio show at njwebradio.com. It's the boss herself, and we'll be back in a few minutes. And I've been looking for a long time for somebody to come and do politics for me. I remember when I was in junior high school and they had those books like Everything You Need to Know. It was like Microsoft for Dummies and Accounting for Dummies. So I brought somebody in to do politics for dummies. Not calling you a dummy, calling myself a dummy when it comes to politics, just because I've never really, been into it like that. My mom tells me who to vote for locally, so I'll do all my voting, though. I know that I have a voice and a vote, and people die for it, and I'm going to make sure that I click the X. But I don't always research what's going on. So I'm very interested in knowing, from the Obama administration, and I found my cousin because he has these long posts on Facebook and they're political, and not only just because he has a feeling about politics, but he's been in politics. He's going to tell you his background, but a lot of people said Obama didn't do anything for us, and he wasn't as good a president as we think. Well, look what we got now. One thing I do know. This is not the best situation. I don't have to know much to know that. I do watch the news. So, Mr. Darrell Woodard, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having me.
And riding out at the moment with you. Now it's your turn. It's your time. You take the stage.
Well, basically, I just came in to help my cousin here in terms of trying to understand the political environment that we're dealing with today. But for you to know where I'm coming from, you got to know where I came from. I grew up in the South Bronx in the projects on Webster Avenue, and all my South Bronx people out there, I'm
Yes.
glad you're listening, and I hope you do call it.
South Bronx Instrumental.
That's it. So I grew up at a time, though, you know, where the influences were Black Panthers, Black Muslims, Malcolm X, you know, all the parents in our neighborhood that kind of looked out for the kids in the neighborhood. Everybody else from Webster Avenue, they know what I'm talking about. But the main thing is that they shaped me in such a way where I am a lot more in tune to my surroundings, especially on the political side. Once I came out of the projects and I moved forward, you know, I said, look, I got to get involved, because I started having, you know, I got married, had some children. Children went to school. In school, I found out that in this new suburb neighborhood, which was only 2 miles outside of New York City, I found out that most of the Black and Latino children were being classified.
Right.
Okay, and the reason they're being classified is because the state sends more money to the district for classified children. Not that the kids were should have been classified in the first place.
Exactly.
So I got involved with the Board of Education. I won 3 terms in 1 year, which was 10 years complete, working on the Board of Education, and finally got the district to start looking at things in a different way. Then from there, in fact, it was some ladies that came in and asked me if I'd run for council, which I did. I won 2 terms in the council in Leonia, so I'm very familiar with politics, with budgets. You know, small town politics is really a microcosm of the national government. It's just that you're not dealing with as much money, but the process and what you do and how you do it and how you get things done is exactly the same. And what I see in today's politics is that we have somebody in the White House that really has no idea what needs to be done, how it needs to be done. And the only thing that his supporters listen to, okay, is that where he took advantage of the country itself was that he promised each group in the Republican sector something that they wanted to see, okay, whether it was tax reform, whether it was those that wanted to see brown and Black people put in their place. There was many things that he laid out, knowing full well that he couldn't accomplish any of them. And for me, when I look at it, and of course, you can't say the entire Republican Party is racist, but if you're a racist, you're looking for a party, that's where you go. So, you know, and the supporters need to start to realize, look, everything he says, whenever he says something out of pocket, he turns around and he blames Obama. Everything is Obama, or it's Hillary. Okay, now we all know with Bill Clinton and Hillary, because Bill, after he left the presidency, he opened up his office on 125th Street in Harlem. Therefore, Bill and Hillary became Black.
Right.
Okay, and they were treated and spoken to and looked at the same way as a Black person. Now, when I grew up, and I was bused as a child, okay, very young child, bused across town, going to an all-white school, 28 of us. It was a Woolworths across the street. They wouldn't serve us at the counter. Okay, we went into all these things. Parents outside with banners, you know, about, you know, go back home, so on and so forth. So I was raised by a Jamaican father and a Puerto Rican mother. Don't worry, I heard all the jokes about it. I could grow the weed and sell it to myself and all the other stuff. Right? But it gave me a different perspective. Okay, and even when I was bused, yes, I did have really good white friends. Okay, these were folks that looked at where I came from, what I was about, and treated me as a person. Maybe their parents didn't,
Right.
but children don't have that issue.
No, they don't.
Okay, they really don't. Some of them have become very lifelong friends. So I have a well-rounded vision, you know, of America, of the makeup of America, and what America really should be about, and what it's always been about. What we have in the White House now, he has no idea what America is about. Okay, he was so
Well, let me ask you this.
sheltered
He was sheltered
in his own life.
But a lot of people are saying because he's a businessman, and you know the economy is in America is all messed up. So people are saying that he's gonna not make America great again, but he's going to bring money people in terms of giving them opportunities or just following in his, I guess, the model that he has to have all that he has, even although his father gave it to him. Is that right?
Of course.
So, as a businessman, though, why do people think that that would make for a good president?
All I know is if you're a black businessman and you file bankruptcy 6 or 7 times, guess what? They don't consider you a good businessman.
Oh.
Okay. And you can work around those bankruptcies to make yourself more money. Okay, that's because you have a lot of money you can deal with. Okay, a lot of people don't understand that even the banks that he defaulted on, that he owed millions of dollars to, not only did the bank write off the debt, he got to write off the debt. So this in turn put him in a better position, financial position. But in terms of businessman, no, you can't buy that. He's not really a good businessman. If you listen to his vocabulary, I would just like he wanted to see President Obama's transcripts from school. Somebody needs to take a look at his. All right, so I could also see that his father must have spent millions of dollars to get him that degree, because you can see that he definitely did not earn it. So when I speak about my own background, I have Latino friends, I have black friends, I have white friends, and each one of them, they came up the way I came up, okay, have that same opinion. Okay, this is not something new. This is not something you dream up. And when you talk about supporting someone, you can't support someone by stating that, oh, well, Obama did it. Oh, well, Hillary did it. There is no equivalency whatsoever. There's no equivalency whatsoever. And
so
the thing about it is
the
that,
election?
well, basically, he promised everybody everything. I mean, that's pretty much what it is. Okay, knowing that he couldn't deliver any of it. But his prime goal was just to be the president. Not to deliver anything, but to be the president.
To accomplish that goal.
Yeah, he wanted that title, so on and so forth.
That's what it's about.
Now he talks about, oh, he comes in, to office and it's a mess. Oh, please, look at when Obama came into office. That was what you call a real mess. When you're looking at 2 wars, when you're looking at the stock market dropped to under 7,000, where most people in America lost anywhere from 28 to 38% of their saved income. Okay, their retirement income. You take a look at your IRA. Your IRA dropped by 28 or 38%, some people more. That money doesn't just disappear. The money went up to the top 1%. Everybody has to understand the whole financial crisis, to me, was just a big hustle. Okay? The banks hustled the country, everybody hustled, everybody grabbed in, everybody made money, except if you're outside of that top 1%. Now here it is. He's in office, and guess what? They're getting ready to rape you again. And listen to what I'm saying. This is going to be a physical rape. Okay, when you're talking about we're going to gut health care so we can take $880 billion out of Medicaid, okay, so that we can provide health, tax cuts to the wealthy.
So where's that money going to go?
It's going to go to the top 1%. You see, because right now the top 1% gets an extra tax for Obamacare, okay, which they hate, of course. But the reasoning that you got Paul Ryan, Mitch McConnell, they're just as guilty. Okay, because a guy like Paul Ryan sits there and talks about, oh, we can't do tax reform, because it's not really a tax reform, it's going to be a tax cut. Mm-hmm. But we can't do tax reform until we do health reform. Okay? What they put on the table are going to hurt millions of people. Even his own supporters, which they don't even understand. His own supporters are going to be hurt. When they talk about Medicaid, of course, most of America looks at Medicaid and they say, oh, it's a brown people or person of color program.
Right.
When that's not the truth. The majority of the people that are on Medicaid are white and live in rural America. Okay, and these are the same folks that voted for him.
Well, we know that it's about economics. It's not about race, really. It's about how much money you have or don't have.
Well, the thing about it is that it's done. Let's put it this way: the middle class in America, which came up in the 1950s, really, after World War II, and began to build a real middle class, and unions were involved, and so on and so forth. It was the middle class that made the real reforms in this country. As you look through the 60s and the 70s and the 80s, it was the middle class that brought us the reforms, okay, that gave minorities an opportunity, that started to bring civil rights to the forefront. Okay, when you're talking about people like Malcolm, you know, and guess what? If there was no Malcolm and there was no Black Panthers, there wouldn't have been a Martin Luther King. I look at Martin Luther King definitely as a prophet. He prophesied what was going to happen, and it did. Okay, but without that resistance, okay, of the Black Panthers, Malcolm X, okay, you wouldn't have saw the country gravitate to Martin Luther King as much. And so the thing about our politics today is that it's coming down to they blame everything. They try to tell the uneducated or the whites in rural America that your plight or your problem, okay, is caused by immigrants. It's caused by Muslims. It's caused by all different types of brown people or black people, okay, and that's why you're in the state that you're in. And that's not the truth.
Well, let me ask you this. When the program started, like the welfare program and the project housing program, which was supposed to really, they weren't for black people initially.
Right.
They were for immigrants.
Well, when you're speaking about public housing, things like that, that was the big experiment to provide affordable housing, which when certain housing was built, okay, and when they were initially built, you had basically working lower middle class families.
Right.
Okay. I know the projects I grew up in, when they first opened, your parent had to be some sort of a civil servant, whether you were a mailman or whether you worked for the DPW, you know, the Department of Sanitation, or you were working for the New York Transit, or you were a policeman. Those were the folks that were in those buildings, and they gave them a step up. Okay, and it did help tremendously. But when you look at where we're headed, you know, as a country, it is basically not. You don't look at it as it's white against black or white against brown and so on and so forth. Okay, the real problem in this country is the rich against the poor and the middle class.
That's right. That's what I said. Absolutely.
That is where the problem is, and we have to start to understand that we all know that a virus causes a disease.
Right.
But if you don't deal with the virus, you never get rid of the disease. And basically, Trump and the conservative Republicans are a disease. They are the what became of the virus, which is money. As long as we have money in our politics, nothing is going to get done for people in the middle class or the working poor or the poor period. Nothing is going to get done for black people or brown people or Native Americans.
Okay,
Nothing.
Hold on. We have 1 minute, and I want to ask this question. I want you to answer when we come back, because I brought up the housing and the programs, the social programs, which are supposed to help temporarily. Have they crippled us in regards to making us handicapped and not being able to now really provide for ourselves because it's a crutch? Has that hurt us in a way because we have not built our own economy so that we don't have to rely on the government to say what we can and cannot have? So we're about to take a break.
Okay.
We're going to come back with that.
Sure.
Back on YouTube at Author Erica Williams page. This is my first time. I'm popping my cherry. And we are still at njwebradio.com, as we always are, on Friday mornings from 11 to 2. Today is the political edition, bringing us up on what is really going on in the White House. So, I just feel that in order for us to have an opinion, we must be informed. I don't like people that have so much to say, and then you say, well, where'd you get that from? Where'd you find that out? And they haven't read anything, they haven't listened to anything, they're just basing it on, well, they said. It's important for you to educate yourself, or at least speak to somebody who's educated. So I'm speaking to you, you're speaking to me, and then I'll be an expert.
always
know
gotta
that
feed on it.
Trump wants to cancel out some of the programs that we have that have benefited some of us, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
So, do you think that, all along, these welfare programs, these health programs have stifled our productivity and process in being, I'm playing the devil's advocate. Have they made us lazy, unproductive citizens?
Well, the real problem is that these programs are not majority. They're not used by blacks and brown people, and the majority of it is used by white people.
Okay, so that's a misconception.
It's a real misconception, because the most people on welfare are white. The most people that are, live in public housing is white. The most people that live, that receive most of these government benefits are white.
But for 1 second,
Yeah.
we are the minority. Our percentage of our population, though, are we at a higher rate?
No.
No, we're
No.
still not at a higher rate?
No, we're not.
Oh, so see, you
Okay.
learn something new every day.
You
Okay.
see, so what it comes down to is that if we want the government to do what we as Americans want to see done, okay, which is certainly deal with our values, and certainly deal with how we deal with our populace, and how we deal with education, how we deal with all these things, you have to take the money out of politics. As long as there's money in politics, only the ultra rich get to dictate to your politicians what they want to see happen.
Right.
Okay, so there's a number of ways that you can pull money out of politics. If you look at the British system, the British system is this: the public, the citizens finance the campaigns. The campaigns are only 90 days. You got 90 days to get your point across. Everybody gets the same amount of money, everybody gets the same amount of airtime, and you got 90 days to get it off. You got here, they run 2 years, 3 years, okay? Billions of dollars being spent, okay? And those billions are coming from people that say, hey, I gave you,
Right.
now you got to give me, okay? If the public is funding it, they'll have to deal with the issues. They're going to have to deal with policy, okay? And you can do that by getting the money out of government, okay? I mean, out of politics, all right? So look at how much money in taxes everyone puts into the government. There's plenty of money. There's plenty of money to do plenty of things. Okay, when they tell you that, oh, we don't have any money, we're going to broke, it's because you take money from the poor who's paying into these taxes. You've got rich people, okay, that are taking money from taxes, okay, saving more money, putting more money in their pockets.
Change that. If the rich are not going to just sit by and let us change that.
Well, that's why when you go to vote, and you go to vote for a politician, you have to make sure that he wants to live by those principles. Now, you look at my man, you look at Bernie Sanders, for instance. I mean, I wasn't a great supporter of Bernie. I did support a lot of his ideas. But what Bernie did was he got his contribution straight from the public. He didn't take any corporate money. He didn't take any rich person's money. He took it straight from those that were the voters and the citizens of this country.
And that allows him to say what he really wants to say.
It allows him to say
He's
exactly.
not selling himself.
That's
He's
right.
sold.
And what he was saying were all the things that you need to do in a country such as ours. Okay? Because if you all know, and we all know, that, a hungry man is an angry man. Okay? So this is why you see these little government programs to kind of pacify. Okay? And, getting a little something to snack on. Okay? So they don't just burn the whole place down.
Okay.
And they
But
can't
the
say.
revolution is coming.
Yeah, well, they can't say that it's a black thing, because the founding of this country, they burned everything down on the British. Okay, so it's not a black or white thing. And this is what I keep trying to say. It's not black against white, or citizens against immigrants. Okay, the real deal is those that have and those that don't. Okay, so
how do we get those that have to be on board? Is there any incentive or way for them to have the compassion? Because if you've had all your life, if you've grown up with a silver spoon, if you've never had to struggle, you're going to not have the compassion, because you see people that don't have as responsible for their position. You don't think that, if your parents have passed wealth down to you, you're going to say, well, why didn't your parents just work hard and get what
No,
my parents had?
listen carefully to a lot of these conservative Republicans.
Mhm.
They're telling you that if you don't have, if you don't have money to buy health care, you don't deserve health care. If you don't have money, there is no heart in what they're talking about. Okay? They don't have any compassion. Okay? There are a few that are very wealthy, okay, that do see that compassion. Okay, but their voice is kind of blocked out because you have so much other money of those that don't have compassion that are pushing the political process. You got a guy like Paul Ryan, who's the head of the House. Okay, his wife is, and her family is uber rich. Okay, all he's trying to do is cut more taxes so his family can keep more money. Okay, you're talking about more money than what you even need. Okay, or what you could even want. Okay, this is just a matter of
Well,
greed.
that's money for generations and generations.
Oh, it's money.
That's old money.
They could stop making money today, and just from the money that they're sitting on can take care of generations after generations after generations.
Mhm.
There's, the thing is, there's no end to the greed with a lot of folks. Okay, and we have a country that trillions of dollars. Okay, we go in. How do we go in debt? Why are we indebted to foreign banks, so on and so forth? And they blame it on social programs.
Right.
They don't blame it on, okay, when just like you have in your own home, okay, you have bills to pay, okay? You say to yourself, oh, if I can't pay the bills with this one job, I got to go out and get another job. You got to increase
The income.
the income. Okay, their thing is not to increase the income. Their thing is to cut the overhead. Okay, now we all know overhead at home gets cut to the bone, but we still need that second job. This is the state that we're in this country now. The overhead's been cut to the bone already. What they're looking to do now are going to hurt millions and millions of people. It's not going to be about, oh, we're just going to cut services down to the bone. You're still going to have the services, but they're going to be a little less. No.
They want to cut them completely.
They want to cut it completely.
And what do they expect people to do with that? I mean, it's every man for himself.
That's how they look at it. They tell you when they give you the tagline about personal responsibility, that means every man for himself. Okay? There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They don't keep it secret either. But it's just little code words and code sentences that they use as opposed to saying, guess what? I don't care about you. And I don't care about anybody like you.
So what about people who say, I'm not voting because it doesn't matter if I vote? Is the vote really going to make a difference if we are so, this is what this country is built on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give you the right.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like the right?
Yeah.
Case has something to say.
Sure.
But my thing is, this is what this country has been built on, as you said. This is the establishment. That's what we call it.
Mm-hmm.
It has been established.
Yes.
How do we break that down?
What, like you said, when in terms of voting, yeah, you got to get out and vote. But the main thing is you got to get out there and vote for the candidate that's going to do something for you. Okay, you can't sit there like what just happened with Donald Trump. He's not going to do anything for anybody. I don't care what any of his supporters say. They're not going to do anything for you. It's not going to happen. Okay, and I'm not trying to preach from a black point of view or a Hispanic point of view. No, I'm preaching from an American point of view, where they turned around and made each one of us enemies of each other. Okay, when that is not really the true enemy. The true enemy is the money. Okay, when they say money is the root of all evil, that's a true statement. Okay, that's not false. That's a true statement. And you're looking at some people, okay, that spend huge sums of money to finance elections, finance campaigns. Okay, that have no heart. They have no compassion. Okay, and what we need to start addressing is that you take the money out of the politics so that the citizens have a voice in what they say. You need to get rid of the electoral college because that takes away the one man, one vote. That's
right.
what it's all about.
Okay? That's to me, I know that much.
Okay, because
I still don't, I don't know how that's still possible.
Right. So, you're looking at Hillary, 3 million votes more than Trump, but Trump's the president.
Right.
So that means one man, one vote went out the window.
Right.
Okay, because of the electoral college. You got to get rid of Citizens United, where these crazy fools in the Supreme Court felt that corporations were just like people. So they could spend money just like anybody else could spend money on elections. Okay, and the only thing that they do is, of course, they keep their lobbyists in there. That's the pharmaceutical industry, the gas and oil industry, all these other industries that all we want you to do is this. We don't care about people. Okay, what we care about is our business. And you know what? I don't have a problem with that. That's what business is about. It's about keeping your stock price up. It's about taking care of your shareholders. I understand that. But that is why, and the exact reason why, they have no business in our politics. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Don't mix business with politics.
No, you can't.
Absolutely. That makes
Good.
so much sense. I get it. I get
Right.
it.
You get it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
So,
So what
now-
is this Russia situation though? Are
Okay.
you ready to move into that?
Well,
or-
yeah, well, what people don't, what a lot of Trump supporters don't understand is, oh, well, Trump won the election, even though the director of the FBI says they interfered in the election. They're all saying, well, they didn't do anything with voting machines. Trump still won, but no. The reason that you voted the way you voted, okay, was all of the false and fake news that the Russians put out, and that and these memes that they put out on social media, that you said, oh my God, is she that bad?
Oh,
Okay, oh my God.
So it's all
You know,
mental.
It's all mental, and they still,
propaganda.
yes, the whole Russian propaganda machine influenced people to vote in a certain way. You're talking about Trump won the election based on 77,000 votes between those industrial states, or so his distance between him and Hillary was 77,000 votes. That could be done very easily with this type of propaganda. Okay, so you've got the Russians, and then you got Fox News. Fox News is another one that they don't deal in a reality. They have their own reality. Okay, this is not real for you or I or anyone else. If you listen to what they I listen to all these different stations. Okay, and even with Fox News, sometimes I look back and I said, how the hell did they just say that? Or how the hell are they defending Donald Trump over that? Okay, but they were the ones, just like Donald Trump. He led with a whole conspiracy thing that Obama wasn't even a citizen.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
He started the whole birther thing, and he stuck to that all the way through the election. Okay? So finally somebody said, look, you gotta at least say that, he's a citizen. Okay. Oh, okay, he's a citizen. Okay. But guess what? These are the things that, some of these folks just don't want to understand, is that you have become a victim of Russian propaganda. Okay, so the FBI director says, yes, they interfere with the election, so on and so forth. Trump still won't admit they interfered with the election. But this is how they interfered, and this is how they twisted the election. Then Trump turns around, fires the FBI director. Okay, and the next morning, who walks in the Oval Office? The Russians.
Yep. Right.
Okay,
Yep.
so you're talking about, these were two people that no matter who was president were never allowed in the Oval Office. Never. Their ambassador or their foreign minister were never allowed in the Oval Office. They'll meet them, at the UN, or they'll meet them other places, but they'll never brought them into the White House.
So this classified information that he was supposed to give, and now they're investigating. Do you think that there's going to be anything that will come out of that?
No. Because you have Republicans in power in the House and in the Senate that have a certain agenda they want to go through. Okay, so they're going to deny and deny until they get their agenda through, which is tax cuts for the wealthy. Okay, take people off health care. Okay, ruin education by privatizing it. Okay, these are all the things that as Americans, this is what you want for your country. You want good education for your children, good public education. Okay, you want these things for your children.
Unfortunately, good education doesn't just benefit the family. Because we're lags behind compared to other countries because we don't have good education. So eventually, the rich are going to be affected by all of their own policies. It's going to come back to them.
No, the rich send their kids to a different school.
Right, but I'm saying that the country.
They're not going to public school.
I don't mean
So,
that.
yeah.
I mean, eventually,
Mm-hmm.
this country, right? We have we're competing against other countries where their people who are so much smarter are coming in to our country, taking all the jobs because we're not educated. So eventually, isn't the country going to basically hurt itself by the outcome?
Of course.
Like you can't, everything that happens may not affect, just like they say with the drug situation with heroin. It doesn't matter until it's into the upper middle class homes, right? Everything that is going to affect the poor people eventually will affect the rich people too, because we are in the same country. Are they that untouchable that
let's put it this way.
It won't affect them?
When I was coming up as a little kid, we had a crazy heroin problem, throughout New York City, mainly in the projects, and mainly in poor areas. Nobody gave a shit then.
Right.
Okay? I can tell you right now, because they are in those other areas, they're finally looking at something. But guess what? This epidemic is worse than it was in the late 60s and early 70s, and it's not going to get better. What they have to understand that when it comes to, at least from my point of view, and everyone that's out there, these are just my point of view, okay? I have my own opinion. You can give me your opinion. I'll listen to your opinion too. But when
you got a lot of information on it.
Well, that's how you base
research.
It. That's how you try to
so you're
base
not
your
just
opinion.
Basing, yes, but in other words, you're not just coming here basing your opinion on your feelings.
Right.
You're basing your opinion, like you said, you gathered information, you watch, you listen, you pay attention.
You listen to these so-called, politicians, because these folks really don't have a clue on the Republican and conservative side. And you know what? They don't care if you think they don't have a clue. You just don't care. Mm-hmm. They're going to run their agenda regardless. Mm-hmm. And the thing when it comes to drugs, or even another big issue of theirs is Planned Parenthood and abortion. To me, these are moral issues within your family. I don't want you to legislate my moral behavior or my immoral behavior. Mm-hmm. When Ryan says, we got this new healthcare law so that people can have choice. Well, if you want people to have freedom and choice, why isn't there a public option that people can purchase? Why can't somebody purchase Medicaid or Medicare? Okay, why isn't that offered? Okay, you're not giving anybody a choice. Okay, because only choice you're going to have is what you can afford. That's not much of a choice. Okay, give me choices. You see, so they have no idea. They do not live up to what their own words are. They just use them to influence others. People that don't do the research, don't look at what's really going on. The country, when they say, the country's a mess, look, you know what? I go out my door every day. Guess what? The sun is shining, flowers is blooming, and so on and so forth. And guess what? You got a lot to thank President Obama for. And I'm going to tell you, with Donald Trump, he is not my president. Not at all. Okay? And from the point of view of how Obama was a role model for children and for my own children, right, and for the country itself, guess what? He's still my president until they find somebody, a decent replacement. Okay, this gentleman here has no clue whatsoever. Okay, he is not my president. Okay.
So does that mean are we able to make any ground and make any progress, whoever is in the presidency, so that we can have some leverage? What can we do?
Well, I'm sorry to say, but basically what it comes down to, until you get to 2018, when you can reelect new congresspeople, people that really have a core value to themselves, okay, that has honesty and integrity. This is what should be the primary thing that we ask of any of our representatives.
Right.
Honesty and integrity should be the first criteria. If you don't have that, you don't need to be elected. Okay? You will not get my vote. Okay? On top of that, you want somebody that's going to work for the people. Okay? Not for corporations.
Okay.
Okay? So let's take the call then.
Yes, thank you for calling NJ Web Radio, the voice of the Chronicles radio show. Call, you're on the air.
Yes.
Caller, you're on the air. Thank you for calling.
Yes. How you doing? Jack Cannon? All right, Jack. Yeah, that's right. You and I went to junior high school and high school. Matter of fact, we went to PS 64. That's right. I've known you about 50 years. Right. Yes. Mhm. Mhm. Oh, I think that, well, Jack, I think they're going to have to eventually. But the thing is, they want him there for the moment, so they can try to put across their agenda, which is, get rid of Obamacare. And guess what? The Obamacare piece is just because the first part of it says Obama. Okay, that's about it. It's not that it didn't do good things for people. When you got 20 million people that got health care that didn't have health care before, they don't care about any of that. The whole thing, it had his name on it. It's just like with Donald Trump and his executive orders. And he says, "Oh, we've done so much in the first 100 days. I signed X amount of executive orders," where he blamed Obama for signing the executive orders. But on top of that, all he did was take Obama's executive orders and say no. So all he did was rewrite the Obama order to say, no, we're not doing this anymore. So he really hasn't done anything. With the Republicans, they all want that to happen. They all want to see their agenda go through. Now, I believe that if they were to get tax reform done, or their tax cut, okay, it'd be cut right after. Okay, you could bet money on that. So, they just want, and I want the investigation to go slowly and thoroughly, because I have more fear of the Vice President Pence than I do of Donald Trump. Okay, so let it go slowly. And the thing about it is, I don't want impeachment. I feel that himself and his other people, his White House staff, they need to be let out of the White House in handcuffs. Okay, that's what I want to see. Yes, yeah, I want them to go to jail. Okay, I don't want an impeachment. Impeachment, look at the presidents that have been impeached. They don't go to jail. Okay, they turn around and either when the vice president comes in, he gives them a pardon, okay, or they resign before they get to the criminal piece and they walk away. No, I want him to stay in there until they have the evidence to put him in jail. Him, along with General Flynn, along with his advisors, even his wife daughter. She needs to go too.
He said his wife daughter.
So, and you're going to find also that his son-in-law is knee deep in all of it. Okay, in terms of the money and the deals that he's cutting and borrowing money from banks and so on and so forth. People don't understand. How do you have a president, Jack, okay, that not a single bank in this country will lend him a dime? You think if a poor black man went up there that had zero credit, okay, wow, and couldn't get a loan from the bank, you think he'd be president of the United States? No. No way. No. Sure. Mm-hmm. No, when you look at the whole Nixon ordeal, it took about 18 months. Okay, and you know what? I don't have a problem with that. You see, because as long as this is sticking around, come the 2018 election, Republicans are going to lose seats. Okay, so let the inquiry keep going. Let it be something that they could eventually put handcuffs on him. okay, and drag him out of the White House. So that's how I see it. That's what I'd like to see. But the main thing is that the 2018 election is going to be a big one for Democrats. And if they can take over the House and take over the Senate, because I'm already going to see the governorships are going to start sliding out. But guess what? Here in New Jersey, this guy's out the door this year, and it won't be a Republican coming back in. Okay, that I can tell you. That's not going to happen. You're going to have a Democratic governor here in New Jersey. All right? Sure. Right. Well, yes, she is. You know, I like her program too, Jay.
Thank you so much for calling. We have another caller. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for calling in, Jack, buddy. All right. Yeah, we'll see you and your Caribbean girlfriend soon, girl. All right. Good guy. Bye-bye.
Calling you on the air. Okay, so.
Did we lose it?
Awesome. Okay, well, that was good.
Yep.
So, basically, who do you think is going to step up for the next election?
In 2020?
Yes.
I really think in terms of the Democrats, they really have to dig deep and find somebody. Because, you know, I think even though Bernie has the right ideas, see, when you look at Republican conservatives, everything that Bernie talks about, they say he's a socialist, he runs a socialist program. But all the things that they love, like the military and the police, as you see, they're already building up the military. They're going to build up the police to give them, you know, the Attorney General says he wants to extend those sentencing guidelines again. All the things that they love are socialist programs. Okay, the military is a socialist program. Our police department is a socialist program. Fire departments are socialist programs. These are all programs that are funded by us, the citizens.
Right.
Okay, they're socialist programs. How could you say you have a problem with socialist programs when these are the programs you love the most? Okay, there's a difference between socialist.
Hold on, let's see if we have our caller. Caller, are you on the air? Okay, thank you for calling.
Yeah, you just state your name and. Sure. Yeah. All right. Sure. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You're right. Yes. Right. Right. Yes. You're right. Yes. Mm-hmm.
He was.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Tony, how you bailed that out. Okay, he had owed. There's not a single bank in this country would lend him money. He borrowed money from Deutsche Bank. Okay, Deutsche Bank lent him $40 million. Okay, now Deutsche Bank was calling in the chips. Hey, you haven't been paying this money. We want our money. So he got a Russian oligarch to buy this property that he had down in Palm Beach. Okay, he bought it $40 million when Trump bought it. Sold it for $90 million. Okay, but that was the deal. The Russian was going to bail him out. Yeah, so he took the 90 million. Yeah, but this one property. Right. Yes. Yes. Well, that's what it was. The guy was laundering money. Matter of fact, this guy was trying to hide money from his wife. You know.
We have another caller. If you could just hold on 1 second. We're going to sell it.
Okay. All right. Hold on to me.
Caller.
Hello. We go back to Tony. All right, Tony, you back? Yeah. See, so what they did was this Russian was trying to hide money from his wife that he was divorcing. Okay, so he gave $90 million to Trump, which in turn Trump was able to pay off his note with Deutsche Bank. Okay, then this Russian oligarch turned around and bulldozed the house. Okay, there's nothing there but an empty plot of land now. Okay, so, you know, the whole thing wasn't to buy a property so he could have a property to go to. The whole thing was to lend Trump $50 million. Okay, that's so he could pay Deutsche Bank. Okay, you know. Right. Yes. 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 Mhm. Mhm. Well, you also look at his other buddy that's on his in his cabinet, which was the head of Cyprus Bank. And the Cyprus Bank is where all the Russian gangsters launder their money. Okay. You see, so yeah. Mhm. Yes. They beat people on the Washington D.C. Commons, where all of the that's right in D.C. where all the other embassies are, right there on the grounds, which is like a central campus, and they beat those boys. That's right. No. Right. Yes. Yeah, because matter of fact, the President Erdogan, which was just in the White House, in the White House with Trump the day before, he was standing there outside watching his bodyguards beat the hell out of these people. Oh yeah, they beat them down. That's right. All right, brother. All right, thanks, Tony.
For calling in. Wow.
Yeah, it's unbelievable the way they just came out there and beat these people that were peacefully protesting on the lawn, okay? And he let his bodyguards run out there and beat them down, okay? You can't make this stuff up. And this guy was just sitting in the White House the day before talking to Trump, okay? And Trump congratulated him when he got so-called reelected. and he changed all kind of laws to make himself a dictator. Okay, and Trump called him and congratulated him.
Wow.
You know, so this is where Trump wants to be a dictator. See, because when running his own business, you're the CEO. He didn't have shareholders. He could say whatever he wants, do whatever he wants. He could tell people, you do this. He'll fire this person, that person, the other person. When you come into the American government now, you have to answer to other people.
Right.
He's never had to answer to anybody. Okay, but now he's going to have to answer to the American people now. Okay, with all these investigations going on between him and Russia and laundering money, like Tony just pointed out. Okay, he's going to have to answer this. Him, okay, his son-in-law, his daughter wife, okay, and Paul Manafort, okay, and all the other characters that were in his campaign, Carter Page, all of these guys are going to have to answer.
So maybe he won't be able to get away with this.
What I'm saying is that they have the ability to manipulate the Senate and the Congress because they're dominated by conservative Republicans, where he may be able to slide out without going to jail. Okay, but if you impeach him, that doesn't mean he's going to jail. It doesn't even mean that he's out of office. Okay, and then if he does, get sentenced, and Pence becomes president, you can turn around and just pardon him. You don't have to go to jail. That's how it works, But I'd love to just see them, a perp walk out of the White House. Even if he doesn't get to do jail time, I'd like to see them cuffed with his orange ass in an orange jumpsuit. Okay?
Well, we heard all the rave about these, what do they call them, rompers.
Yes.
So they say that will be him in a romper.
That's right, orange romper. That's it.
So, I mean, before we close, what are some other right now hands-on strategies that we can do? I mean,
the people have been pretty active. They've been pretty revved up. As you saw, there's numbers of demonstrations that have happened since he's been president.
Right.
He's only been as president about 120 days, and my God, look at the things that are going on. I think eventually what's going to happen is, and what I'd like to see happen, is a real march, and call it pitchfork and torches, going down to Washington, D.C. on July 4th. Okay, all these organizations that put together the Women's March, which was wonderful, and all the other marches that they had on D.C., they need to all get together and have a pitchfork and torches march, on Washington, to say, this is not the man that you want governing our country. Matter of fact, I don't even want them to really focus on Donald Trump, but focus on the Congress. When you got guys like Mitch McConnell and Paul Ryan, and all the other Republican conservatives that came in during 2010. Okay, get them all out of there. So I guess you had to close it. But I just want them to just walk them all out of there. But if they don't see that type of protest, and really, quite frankly, anger from Americans, these guys that are in Congress are going to do absolutely nothing. All right, so they may have to wait to the 2018 election, but they need to keep the pressure on. Okay, and let's put together a march on the holiday July 4th weekend and get everybody, whether it was at the Women's March or Black Lives Matters March or 100 black men or a million man march. You call all those marches together, all those people that put all those things together. We need to march together as Americans. That's black, white, Hispanic, Asian. Everybody needs to go down to Washington. Okay, and let them know that just like they used to run people out of office and come to the castle with pitchforks and torches, that's how they need to do this. And that's the only thing that these Republicans are going to understand.
Well, like you said, money talks, so we have to put our money in the right places. Our support. We do have to stand up and have a voice. We need to vote. You can't sit around and complain and do nothing.
Well, see, the thing is that the money is there. We put in money into this government. It's not a problem of, paying the tax. The problem is what you spending my money on. Okay? They're not spending money in the proper places. when you talk about, oh, you want to give another 500 billion on top of the military budget, okay, you know what? I don't have a problem if you give another 500 million to the military, but guess what? Nobody's ever mentioned giving a raise to the men and women of the military. Okay, it's like build another aircraft carrier, or build 5 more planes, or so on and so forth. You know, they don't need that stuff.
We don't even take care of the people that protect us.
Yeah, that's not the kind of war we fight anymore.
The FDA doesn't protect us from dyes in our food. I mean, what are these organizations for?
Well,
they're not. They're just trying to kill everybody.
No, the FDA can't do their job because they get their budget cut all the time and they don't have enough inspectors to go out there and inspect the food. Okay, this way, people like, that raising these chickens and all kind of bacteria, those chickens come to the supermarket. Okay, because you don't have enough money in the FDA to really put the inspectors out there to take care of what they should take care of. There's plenty of money in this country. Don't have somebody fool you. Okay, but how do you have all this money in this country and we still running $20 trillion in debt? Okay, because they steal it. They're stealing on a regular basis. Okay, the rich are stealing on a regular basis. Okay, when they say this country was so great in the 50s, guess what? The tax rate on the rich was about 90%. That's why it was great. Okay, because you made them pay what they're supposed to pay. I worked, and I'm not going to talk about the corporation itself, but I worked for a corporation that had $9 billion in cash and still laid off 4,000 people. Tell me, how does that happen? Okay? When you're talking about the amount of money that we put in, look, I don't have a problem, okay, even paying a little more tax if the money is spent properly, if it's going to do something for the people in this country. Okay? We put in a lot of money, but that money goes everywhere where it ain't supposed to go. Okay? But when they can start talking about, oh, we love the military, all this other stuff. Yeah, but you never mention, okay, giving a raise to the families whose son or whose husband is fighting. The wife is sitting at home with 3 babies, and she's got to get food stamps, okay, or she's got to try to hustle, okay, to make ends meet. Okay? No. Take the 500 billion, give it to the actual soldiers, then I don't have a problem with it. Okay, but if you're talking about building another aircraft carrier, guess what? I got a problem with that. That's not the kind of war you fight anymore. Okay?
Okay, so we're about to take another break. All this knowledge and information. That's what we do at the Boss Lady Chronicles radio show. We give knowledge and information for elevation. That's been our tagline. We have Mr. Politics himself. I'm trying to hire him to come back.
I'll come back for you.
All right, so don't go anywhere. You guys stay with us. We'll be back. We got a few other things going on today. He is player number 3 of the Loyal Warriors. I'll tell you guys how that team started when we come back. Enlighten some of you. It helps some people to get in the game. Regardless of what you're on this earth, you need to be a part of the movement to help everybody get to a better place, including yourselves, including our children, our community. We all have to play a part. So I want to thank my cousin for doing that for me today. I appreciate you for being here. But now, we're getting ready to get in your head. Well, not in your head. We've been in your head. You've been telling us everything that, right. We're getting in your heart now. This is the part that I like. I love. Loyal Warriors started when I put a post on Facebook one day and got a lot of guys mad because I said, and it came from a conversation that I had with someone, one of my guy friends, who was trying to make me understand that all men cheat. And I just don't want to accept that. So I went to Facebook and I said, are there any men here that can say that they don't cheat on their significant others? That's crazy. And someone called me and said, you can't say that. You can't say that. Because that's like, what if the guys that are cheating, if they don't say, yeah, I'm loyal, what if their girl is your friend? And then they're looking for their boyfriend to say, I'm not cheating. And I said, I didn't ask are you cheating? I asked, are you loyal? I said, so the people who are cheating can scroll past and pretend they never saw the post, right? You don't have to ask. She doesn't have to know that you saw the post that I asked who's loyal. So I figured the men who were going to be honest would be the men who are loyal. If you're not loyal, act like you didn't see the post. So there were a couple. It started off slow. I was scared. I was like, oh man, he got me. He got me. It started off slow, and then little by little, some men started raising their hands, and they said, me. And it didn't mean that they were always loyal men. It didn't mean that they never cheated on a significant other. It didn't mean that they didn't cheat on their significant other right now. It meant they're not cheating because they decided not to cheat anymore. Okay? I don't know if they're going to cheat again. I hope not, because I'm trying to crown these men. And I gave them a name, and I put them on a team. And I named the team the Loyal Warriors. So they are my team. They are repping for me. They are proving that not all men cheat. And it's not just for women. It's for men who may be having a difficult time, you know, to understand that it can be done. Okay? So this is a movement I'm starting. Because I think we should celebrate those men. And also, the reason why we call them players is because we believe that players are guys that play with women. They play, you know, this girl, that girl, that girl. But if you're doing that and you are in a relationship, you're not playing as the MVP. Actually, you're playing for the opposition. So you are allowing someone else to have the power to destroy what you say that you care about, what you say that you love. Now, if you want to be a man that sees other women, I just suggest that you just don't have a relationship and you be free to do that. Because a lot of times you are imposing on someone who is not a part of that decision things that can go awry, like diseases and other babies and things like that. So, player number 3, it is the first time I have a player from the Loyal Warriors in studio, and he is Darryl Witter, who just enlightened us on the politics. So I thought it was kind of cool, like bring him in, and he was going to call in today as player number 3. So, let's say, when you first saw the post initially, why did you even feel it was necessary for you to raise your hand? You know, I'm not Facebook friends with your wife, who is my cousin-in-law, but would not have, I have 5,000, sorry. No, but anyway, no, seriously, what made you respond to that post?
Well, you know, basically, you know, I looked at my own life. So, you know, I know that when I was younger, you know, before I got married or anything like that, you know, I let people know, you know, just see other people, I do, you know, I mean, because whether you realize it or not, I mean, I'm a little older now, but when I came out my door, Woody was like red. Okay, I couldn't help but get wet. Well,
yeah, you had it going on. I remember. I remember. I was a little cousin, but you was doing it.
You know, but then when you get to a point where you say, okay, you know, I don't want to play this game anymore. Okay, it was just, you know, too many women reaching out, you know, just, and I started looking for a fit. Okay, someone I could really spend time with, you know. And then, you know, when I met my wife, you know, I said, okay. Matter of fact, I was working at this publishing company in Annual Eclipse, and she came walking in the cafeteria, and I'm sitting at the table with my buddies, you know, these are all my boys. We hang out, and we're just flinging women left and right. And I looked at her, and I said, you know what? I said, what? I said, I'm gonna marry that girl.
Wow.
You know, get it. I didn't get
Right.
No, not
Did she
you.
work there?
Yes.
Did she? Okay.
I said, oh, not you. I said, oh, yes, me. I'm gonna marry that girl. You know, and a couple months, you know, about the next week, you know, she came down and I just slid up next to her and I said, let's go out. You know, and she said, fine, we go out to lunch and stuff. We went out to lunch and, you know, we started hanging out from there and so on and so forth. I mean, and, you know, the thing is that once I got determined that, you know, I just wanted to settle down and be with one woman, and she was in the same position, okay? She had the same mindset. I mean, because, I mean, you know my wife, she's fine as hell. But
I remember. I mean, we had a pool in my backyard,
right.
and the first time you brought her over to the family's house, we was like, oh my gosh, she's beautiful. Like, and she was like she took off hers and she jumped in the pool, and we was like. Everybody was in awe, like, oh my God, how'd you get hurt? But yeah,
but they knew the animal that I was at the
right.
time. But
we were like, I hope he's not gonna mess this one up.
Yes. But the thing was, once I decided that's what it was, that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And what people don't understand in terms of men cheating and so on and so forth is that for you to have a long-term relationship. We've been married 33 years, but we've been together 35.
Okay.
Is that you have to be able to deal with change, like you and I were talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Because your woman's going to change.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to change. Okay. When she has children, she's going to change.
Right.
Not only physically, she's going to change emotionally. She's going to change mentally, but every time I look at my wife and I look her in her eyes, I see that same girl I married. Okay? That's what works for me. But the thing is that no matter what she says, no matter what she does, she knows me. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I know her.
Right.
Even though we make certain changes as we go along in life, we're able to flex with those changes. Okay? And still remind each other that this is why we're here together.
Right.
Okay? A lot of people lose that when their woman changes or their man changes. Oh, he ain't the same, or she not the same no more. And that's why they're rolling off to something different, who kind of reminded them of what their wife was before. Okay, when you look at it, you say, look, I need somebody with some commonalities here. I don't need no young girl and stuff that I can't listen to my music. She don't hear the same tune I hear. Okay. I don't know what she's talking about. I don't know what the hell she's listening to. Okay, she doesn't have the experiences that I have in terms of life and so on and so forth. So it doesn't become much of a conversation. But when you're dealing with a long-term relationship, you have to deal with those changes. The changes are going to happen. You got to be able to roll with it. Okay, because you got to always remind yourself, this is the woman that I chose, and this is the woman that's had my babies.
Right.
Okay.
Well, so when you say deal with change, you know that there are times when you are with someone that you still love, but they get on your nerves. Like it goes through a cycle of where, oh, I can't stand you. As long as you still love each other, that's what holds you together. But in those moments where you can't really, you're getting under each other's skin, how do you deal with that? Knowing that you don't want to leave forever, you just need a moment. You know what I mean? Like, because when you're married, you don't have another apartment you can go to. How do you get through those times?
Well, basically, you want to find out exactly what it is that's irritating you, and you have to talk to her about it. Say, look, this, I know people change, but this is not working.
Okay, hold on, hold that thought. We have a caller. Yes, caller, you on the air? Yes, caller, you on the air?
Hey, I was just calling to let you guys know I was listening, and I think it's very beautiful what the guy said about his wife going in your eyes, especially the woman that married. The way it goes well, type of thing, but it's very pleasant.
Oh, okay.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, guess what? Those eyes don't lie.
Okay. Well, I want to congratulate you on graduating from college on yesterday. I have now known you how many years? Over 10. Yeah, you were my student, and I was very honored that you asked me to take one of your few tickets for your college graduation. So we're going to have you up here so we can celebrate you. And I know that you're kind of going into the same field that your big sis is going into. You're going into broadcasting. So you definitely have a home here at the Ball City Chronicles Radio Show. So thank you. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Well, that's great coming from a young college graduate.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so we'll talk to he said that's great coming from a young college graduate. So in other words, we kept your attention. You weren't bored to death. Okay.
Oh, thank
That's
you so much.
good. Okay. All right. Talk to you soon. Thank you. Right. So
Yeah.
you're saying you need to communicate and tell her what it is, or
Oh, yeah.
vice versa.
Yeah, if you care about your marriage and you care about your wife, then you shouldn't have any problem telling her something wrong, even if you know she may not like it too much.
Right.
But you know what? If you love me, you're gonna address it.
Okay.
Okay, so I mean, we've had our issues just like everybody.
Mhm.
And but one thing we don't do, we don't go to sleep mad.
Okay.
Okay, that's ended before we go to bed.
Okay. That's
Okay,
good.
and usually that's what we make sure of. I make sure of, and she makes sure of that we're not going to go to sleep, angry with each other. We're gonna talk about this, because we've had our issues, and most of our issues have come not from her and I. It comes from her family or my family.
Oh, so it's external.
External
okay, so
pressures.
that's another
Yeah,
thing though
that's-
that can come in.
Oh, yeah.
The audio. This is another thing that can come into a relationship when you have people on the outside telling you what you need to do,
Mhm.
and that's a lot of
I
time.
mean, even your children can cause some issues.
Mhm.
Okay, so but what her and I always lived by through the 33 years is that, you know what? I used to tell her, she said, oh, well, I got to do this with the kids, I got to do that with the kids, and I said, F those kids. She said, what? I said, I love my kids. I said, but F those kids. I said, because you know what? If there's no me and you, there's no family.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
and guess what? The only thing guaranteed with your children are that they're going to grow up, hopefully,
Right.
and this is what you pray for, is that they grow up and they go off on their own.
Right.
So now you sit at the house, you and this woman, and now you don't know this woman?
Right.
Okay, so we always took things like, took the kids on vacation, and then in October, her and I was in Jamaica.
Right.
Okay,
I
no
know what
kids.
you mean when
Right.
you say after kids. You
Yes.
mean these people that were given to you as a gift from God
Yeah.
aren't yours, that they have their own life. And when they get their boyfriends and their girlfriends, they're
That's
going to be saying, F you, mommy and
That's
daddy.
right.
I'm going to be poorly.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
you have to keep your relationship. It can't just be the kids that keep you together.
No.
I got it. I get what you're
Right.
saying.
That's
Because
right.
it's just like as a mother
Mhm.
who has a career going,
Mhm.
I'm doing this for myself and my kids, but if I'm not happy in my dreams and goals being fulfilled, they're going to have an unhappy, miserable
right.
woman raising them and
That's
not
right.
want to cook for them because I can't live out my dreams.
That's
So,
right. And you're going to have an issue with your kids.
Right, because then they won't want to follow and they won't see the motivation that
Right.
I put in them to keep pushing and keep trying to follow their dreams.
Yes, we were part of a group every year from the end of October to the first week of November. We all went to Jamaica. There were 28 of us,
Mm,
14 couples,
okay.
no kids allowed.
Okay.
Okay, the water was beautiful, the sand was beautiful, and all the trees was wonderful.
No, that's right. I know that's right.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yes,
So,
I do.
And when we came back home, guess what?
The kids
We
still
missed
there.
our kids.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
our kids missed us. All right, so
Well, it's important for them to see you guys happy.
That's right.
If
And
you're
it
not happy, it
teaches-
trickles down.
it teaches, especially your daughters, it teaches your daughters what they should expect from a man when they meet a man. Okay? If they're not doing what daddy did with mommy, guess what? He ain't ready yet.
Okay.
Okay? So either he's gonna get ready or you're gonna make him ready. Okay, but it's gotta be where that type of affection is shown, that type of interest is shown, that type of excitement is shown. Okay, because sometimes with my kids, even my kids, I go up to hug my wife, kiss my wife, and they're like, ooh, But you know what? That's what they want from their spouses now.
Right.
Okay, and I didn't care. Well, you went ooh, so what? you know.
Well, okay, so you said that things change and you have to
Right.
be able to deal with change.
Yes.
How do you deal with things staying the same in terms of you saying 33 years? Now, I
Mhm.
know one thing that you said, you go on vacations every year.
Mhm.
That of course that's going to bring spice into
Yeah.
you know the situation,
Mhm.
a different environment. Going away always works.
Right, right.
But that's once a year.
Mhm.
How do you keep the things that are going, I mean, the things that seem to get monotonous, you
Mhm.
know, when it seems to get dull.
Right.
You know, it's not just sex. I'm not saying,
Right.
you know, that's not the only way to keep it spicy.
Mhm.
But how do you continue to say, this is what I want, even though I've been here forever?
Well, it doesn't take much, you know, to break the monotony, you know. But sometimes, like you said, it depending on when you have work and you know all that other stuff,
Yeah.
things tend to get monotonous because you got that 9 to 5 and blah 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 blah. You know, sometimes what I used to do, I slip out of work, you know, middle of the afternoon, take her to lunch.
Mhm.
You know, she knows that too. You know, matter of fact, I had flowers come to the house every 2 weeks, regular basis. You know,
Okay.
and they just drop them off. You know, and she appreciated them so much. And you know, like you know, after all those years, things can get a little monotonous. But you turn around and say, you know what? Got these bikes in the garage. Let's get on and take a bike ride.
Okay.
You know, it doesn't cost you no real money
Right.
to break the
Right.
monotony.
Right.
Okay, so you know, and it's just like I said, we going to Jamaica every year. I had another buddy. Him and his wife wanted to get a divorce. I said, you know what? Come with us to Jamaica one time before you decide.
Right. Right.
Bring your wife. Let's go to Jamaica. So he brings his wife. You know, about 2-3 days later, he comes back over and said, "David, I don't know what it is." He said, "My wife is frisky as a monkey." I said, "Look, honey, it's the salt water. Okay, we all come from the salt water. Put her in the water, she gonna be fine." Okay, you know. But that was just a joke between him and I.
Right.
But his
they
marriage
stayed together?
continued. Yeah,
Okay.
they stuck together. They needed to get out of that rut. They needed to get away from their kids.
Right.
You know, kids could be real stressful in a relationship. You know, you know what they're doing in school or not doing in school, or what they expect from you and what you expect from them. You know, could cause some real, you know, friction in the household. You know, but you know, I used to always tell her. I said, look, you know, when she said, "Oh, why are we so harsh with her?" Blah 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 blah. I said, look, she's gonna understand it when she gets older. I said, but to me, I'm not worried about them kids. But guess what? They ain't gonna be worried about you.
Yeah.
Okay? Once they graduate from school and stuff, they're gonna build their lives, and you know what? I'm happy for them. Okay? I'm hoping that when they get older, you know, like mine is starting to get, now they're starting to say, oh, what our parents did for us was really nice.
Right.
They were good parents. Okay, matter of fact, now that they're parents, okay, they're like,
Mhm.
oh, I could see myself in my stepson,
Mhm.
okay, and I could see myself in my daughters, you know, and I could see my wife in my daughters, you know, and my daughters don't settle for anything less.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
So you know, I mean, they had their boyfriends, and they chuck boyfriends like he's going out of style. They had some very pretty daughters and stuff. But, well, what happened with, you know, this guy? Oh, he wasn't right. Okay, he's not the right one yet.
That's
You know,
good.
all right. This one I'm with now, maybe he might be right. I'll find out.
Well, let me ask you this. So, although you have a beautiful wife at home, you're a handsome gentleman yourself, and I'm sure that, and we know that, a lot of women are attracted to married men for
Mhm.
some reason, because they don't want the headache. They think it's a headache having a man. You got to deal with all his idiosyncrasies, and you know, a lot of men come home, they don't appreciate their wives. They treat their wives like she's the problem of all of his frustrations, right?
Mhm.
So now a mistress on the side, she knows, oh, I'm gonna be the one that's the escape. I'm gonna be the one that's the outlet. He's gonna treat me all nice because he wants to get away from that monotony or whatever the case is. So I'm sure that women have come on to you in 33 years.
Mhm.
How do you handle that? You know, how have you handled that? Even in you know, in times where, you know, there's men that probably think, oh, you know, it won't get out. I won't get caught. It's just one time. You know, how do you address that?
Well, basically, I know from the start that whoever she may be, no matter how beautiful she may be, she ain't the one.
Mm.
Just can't be. Ain't no room for more than one. Okay, so, I look at it right now I look at it, I'm too old to, mess around with anybody. Okay, I'll be 63 years old this year.
Oh, wow.
So my thing is that regardless of what she's pitching, okay, I ain't hitting.
Okay. But even in general, for men who are at that moment where they found the woman that they love,
right,
but they're still maybe young or young in the marriage or relationship, the temptation is there. If you feel that you already found the one, is that enough for you to say this is not worth it? A lot of guys would be like, I just want a girl that I can pay her to shut up. You know what I mean? Somebody that won't bother me like my woman. Your woman cares about you. These women on the side that want to use you, they want to use you just like they'll let you use them. In other words, they know they're a side chick, so pay me. I'll give you the pleasure that you need, and we'll be done with it. But you have a relationship already. How do you keep it to understand that this is what it's really all about without getting it misconstrued?
It's because when you come home each evening, whether you work or whatever it is you're doing, you come home each evening, take a look around.
Okay.
That's all you got to do. Just take a look around. Say, look what I have. Okay? My home or my apartment, my children. You look at what you have. Okay? And guess what? I don't care who she is. She can't live up to that. And you also have to tell yourself that no matter what, even if you decided I'm going to try to see this on the side, blah, 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 blah. If you are who you are, okay, in terms of you being all the things that she thinks you are, okay, it's going to come to a point where she want to be the one.
Right.
And it ain't going to happen. So why even put yourself in that position?
Okay.
If you want to live that life, that's fine, but you should be single.
Right.
Okay,
right.
And if your wife is that bad to you, okay, or that irritating to you, then you know what? Take the steps you need to take. Get rid of it before you start stepping out.
Absolutely.
Okay, go ahead and finish that one first. Close that chapter and move on to the next one. Because I'm not saying everybody got to be, you got to be monogamous and blah 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 blah. No, if you got the right one, you will be. Okay. But if you don't have the right one, close the door on that and move on. Okay, but don't try to juggle two. Okay.
It's so funny how men will say women are crazy, or we're possessive, or we want to take all of your attention. That's how women are. So if you have one, how can you handle two? When one is a million.
Right.
Like one woman is like 10. So what makes you think that you're going to be able to do the same thing? It really comes down to what other women are going to accept, like you said. But at the end of the day, the woman that's on the side pretending like she's all good with it, after a while, she's going to want to be that main one, that only one.
I don't know. I'm just from my own experiences and so on and so on. It's
right.
Men are kind of practical in what they do. Very practical. Okay? Like money is this, and this is how I spend money. This is how I take care of my money. This is how, and they're very practical about things. Women are not practical like that.
No, we're not.
Women are very emotional.
Yes, we are.
If you don't deal with women on an emotional level, you're going to have some issues.
Hello.
Okay? You're going to have some major issues.
Okay.
You can't deal with her on a practical level.
Right.
Okay? It might not be good for you to go and take that vacation right now because of this. No. Mommy's telling you, I need a break. I need a vacation. Guess what? Get your ducks together and take your ass wherever you need to go. Because
you are on point.
Women are that way. I had to speak to some friends of mine who said, she can do this, or she can do that. I'm telling them we don't need to spend money on that because we need to get that. Stop. Don't go no further. Okay? Women are not practical like that.
No, we're not.
They're very emotional. Even with my wife, I buy her clothes. I buy her shoes because she knows I'm going to spend more money on that stuff than she would. Okay, so she allows me to do that.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
but you know what? She's happy about that. She's excited that I take the time to stop in wherever and pick her up something nice and so on and so forth. Because I know women are on an emotional level. When she feels that she's getting a little, when I see she's getting a little ornery or something like that, I say, oh, honey, sit down a second here by the computer. You know, I'm looking at this vacation here and there. And then the frown goes like this.
Right.
And now she's smiling, okay? All right, when we leaving. I said, you pick the date, we going, okay? You know, so, or you can turn around and just say, you know what, honey, you know, right now it's May, flowers are blooming on the High Line. Let's go take a walk on the High Line in Manhattan, okay? Eat a couple of dirty hot
Little
dogs.
stuff,
Okay?
right?
Yeah,
Little
stuff.
things.
You know,
It's not so hard.
right. Well, I'll come in sometime and I can see, you know, she's been, you know, doing stuff around the house and she looks a little frustrated. Could have been from one of my daughters on the phone or whatever the case may be. Say, come on, honey, let's go. You know, we can go out to eat. You know, it could be something simple. Okay. Sometimes we just go to some place and pick up some sushi, take out and bring it on back home. You know, take it upstairs.
Right.
And the fish is on the table.
That's right. All right. So what we do at this point, I get back to you with your tips of what you've mentioned. We put them together and we share. So and thank you. I mean, everyone, all the players up to this point have really given different things that that are really good. So we're gonna put those up on the Boss Lady Chronicles page, on Instagram and Facebook. In closing, because it's a wrap. It's been another great one. In closing, and if you want to share anything else, you got a minute.
Oh, got a minute. Well, I'll stick with what we've been talking about and say, you know, just look at your woman, pay a little attention. Okay, it doesn't take much. Okay, and just deal with her from an emotional level, you know, as opposed to a practical level. Once you get into the practical level, guess what? You're gonna find yourself walking out the door or getting pushed out the door. So, you know, deal with what you got. You know, which is an emotional woman, okay, who loves you, and you feed on that.
All right. Okay, so everyone, again, thank you for joining us today. If you did, on YouTube, we'll be back under author Erica Williams' page. I want to shout out my other boss from Truth by TV. He's been in the building all day. He set us up. We'll be on Chicks and Flicks tomorrow at Truth by TV on YouTube, Channel 1. Okay, and we'll be back next Friday with me and Kay Says and njwebradio.com in East Orange, New Jersey. Everybody have a beautiful, wonderful weekend. Love your love. And trust the process. That's what Kay says. That's her thing. And she's absolutely right. I tell you, I'm not giving her away, but I will lend her. She has her show on Thursday nights, Kay Says, from 8 to 11 on njwebradio.com. So let's keep it in the family. It's love is love. Have a great day.